Operational costs were astronomical. The Air Force retired the B-58 in 1970 after only 10 years of service. Mach 2 wasn't cheap. Beauty doesn't pay the bills. Convair built 116 B-58s between 1956 and 1962. The Hustler was beautiful, fast, and expensive. It set 19 world speed and altitude records. With a 108 feet wingspan and 6 Allison J-35 turbojets, the XB-48 could carry 22,000 pounds of bombs at 516 miles per hour. Martin tried with the XB-48. The Martin XB-48 first flew in 1947 as another jet bomber prototype competing against the B-47. The Air Force chose Boeing's B-47 instead. Martin canceled the XB-48 program in 1950. The XB-48 demonstrated innovative ideas, but the B-47's swept-wing design proved superior. With a 149 feet wingspan and 4 850 horsepower Pratt & Whitney engines, this massive aircraft could carry 2,500 pounds of bombs over 5,130 miles. The aircraft served as a transport during World War II, hauling cargo across the Pacific. Though never used in combat as a bomber, the XB-15 validated concepts for the next 8 decades. With a 149 feet wingspan and 4 850 horsepower Pratt & Whitney engines, this massive aircraft could carry 2,500 pounds of bombs over 5,130 miles. The aircraft served as a transport during World War II, hauling cargo across the Pacific. Though never used in combat as a bomber, the XB-15 validated concepts for the next 8 decades. Only one prototype was built, but the XB-15 proved that large multi-engine bombers could fly intercontinental distances. The Boeing XB-15 first flew in 1937 as America's experimental leap into long-range strategic bombing. The Boeing XB-15 first flew in 1937 as America's experimental leap into long-range strategic bombing. The General Dynamics FB-111A entered service in 1967 as a strategic bomber variant of the F-111 tactical fighter. General Dynamics built 76 FB-111As between 1967 and 1971. The swing-wing design allowed high-speed penetration at low altitude to avoid Soviet radar. The FB-111A served with Strategic Air Command until 1991, then transferred tactical roles as the F-111G until retirement in 96. The Mach 3 dream died. The swing-wing compromise survived. The FB-111A served with Strategic Air Command until 1991, then transferred tactical roles as the F-111G until retirement in 96. The Mach 3 dream died. The swing-wing compromise survived. In 1949, a B-50 named Lucky Lady 2 completed the first non-stop around-the-world flight with aerial refueling, covering 23,452 miles in 94 hours. With a 116 feet wingspan and 6 General Electric J-47 turbojets, the B-47 could carry 25,000 pounds of bombs at 607 miles per hour over 4,000 miles. At 99 feet long, the B-50 could carry 20,000 pounds of bombs at 395 miles per hour over 4,650 miles. Boeing built 371 B-50s between 1943. The B-50 served as America's primary nuclear bomber until the B-36 and B-47 entered service. It improved the past while newer designs redefined the future. Soviet surface-to-air missiles made high-altitude bombing obsolete before the XB-70 could end 1961, though NASA killed the program in 19 flight testing until 1969. With 105 feet wingspan and 6 General Electric YJ-93 turbojets, the XB-70 could carry 50,000 pounds of bombs at Mach 3.08 over 4,300 miles. North American built 143 B-45s between 1947 and 1950. The B-45 served primarily in reconnaissance roles during the Korean War, photographing targets deep in North Korea and China. The Tornado proved jet bombers could operate effectively in combat. The B-45 was first. The B-47 was better. Only one prototype was built. The XB-46 lost the competition to Boeing's B-47, which offered superior performance and range. The North American XB-70 Valkyrie first flew in 1964 as a Mach 3 strategic bomber designed to fly at 70,000 feet. With 113 feet wingspan and 4 General Electric J-35 turbojets, the XB-46 could carry 22,000 pounds of bombs at 545 miles per hour. Convair scrapped the XB-46 program in 1950. The aircraft proved that not every design wins, but competition drives innovation. With 135 feet wingspan and 4 Wright R-3350 engines, the B-32 carried 20,000 pounds of bombs at 357 miles per hour over 3,800 miles. The Boeing B-50 Superfortress entered service in 1947 as an improved B-29 with more powerful Pratt & Whitney R-4360 engines producing 35,000 horsepower each. The consolidated B-32 Dominator entered service in 1944 as insurance against B-29 failure. Consolidated built 118 B-32s, but only about 15 saw combat in the Pacific during the final weeks of World War II. The B-32 flew the last American combat mission of the war on August 18, 1945. The Superfortress worked brilliantly, the Dominator worked adequately, America needed only one. With 185 feet wingspan and 8 Pratt & Whitney J57 turbojets, the B-52 could carry 70,000 pounds of bombs at 650 miles per hour over 8,800 miles. The B-52 dropped conventional bombs in Vietnam, launched cruise missiles in Iraq, and continues flying combat missions today. Boeing converted 25 B-17s to YB-40 configuration, stripping out the bomb bay and adding up to 14 50 While Douglas caliber experimented machine with guns, Giants, plus Boeing 11,000 experimented rounds with of ammunition. escorts. The Boeing YB-40 Flying Fortress flew combat missions in 1943 as an experimental gunship escort for B-17 formations. The Air Force chose the B-52 in 1952. Convair scrapped the YB-60 program immediately. The YB-60 was the safe choice. The B-52 was the right one. Only one prototype was built. The YB-60 competed directly against Boeing's B-52, which offered better performance despite being smaller. Boeing built 2,032 B-47s between 1947 and 1956, making it the most produced jet bomber in history. With a 206 feet wingspan and 8 Pratt & Whitney J57 turbojets, the YB-60 could carry 72,000 pounds of bombs at 508 miles per hour. Between 1940 and 1945, American factories produced over 18,482 Liberators, more than any other bomber ever built. 13 flew combat missions over Europe in mid-1943. The concept failed because the heavily armed YB-40 couldn't keep up with lighter B-17s after they dropped their bombs. With a 96 feet wingspan and 4 General Electric J-47 turbojets, the B-45 could carry 22,000 pounds of bombs at 579 miles per hour over 1,910 miles. The YB-40 proved that specialized escort bombers were impractical. Long-range fighters like the P-51 Mustang solved the escort problem instead. Only one was built and it never saw combat. The XB-19 was too slow at 224 miles per hour and too expensive to mass produce during wartime. While Liberators filled the skies by the thousands, Douglas dreamed bigger. The Douglas XB-19 first flew in 1941 as the largest American aircraft built before World War II. The Boeing B-29 Superfortress entered service in 1944 and revolutionized strategic bombing with pressurized crew compartments, remotely controlled gun turrets, and the ability to carry atomic weapons. The Boeing B-29 Superfortress. A quantum leap in technology, it served until the 1960s. This aircraft bridged eras, from World War II into the Cold War. The Convair YB-60 first flew in 1952 as a jet-powered version of the B-36. The Convair B-58 Hustler entered service in 1960 as the world's first supersonic bomber. Northrop built 2 YB-49s. The flying wing offered exceptional range and potential radar stealth. Northrop tried 8 engines in a flying wing. The Northrop YB-49 first flew in 1947 as a jet-powered flying wing derived from the piston engine YB-35. Stability problems and a fatal crash in 1948 doomed the program. The Air Force canceled the YB-49 in 1950. The flying wing lost for now. Northrop would return with the B-2 Spirit 40 years later. With 110 feet wingspan and 4 Pratt & Whitney R-1830 engines, the B-24 carried up to 8,000 pounds of bombs at around 2,100 miles, offering superior range and fuel efficiency compared to the B-17. R-3350 engines, this experimental giant weighed 162,000 pounds fully loaded and could carry up to 37,110 pounds of bombs. The Boeing B-52 Stratofortress entered service in 1955 and became the longest-serving bomber in aviation history. With 112 feet wingspan and 8 Allison J-35 turbojets, the YB-49 could carry 16,000 pounds of bombs at 493 miles per hour over 4,000 miles. The Boeing B-47 Stratojet entered service in 1951 and revolutionized bomber design with swept wings, potted engines, and bicycle landing gear. The B-47's swept-wing design influenced every jet aircraft that followed. From the B-52, the Stratojet served until 1969, proving that revolutionary design beats incremental improvement. Crews found it less forgiving than the B-17, but its massive production numbers proved America's industrial might could overwhelm any enemy. The consolidated B-24 Liberator first flew in 1939 and entered combat in 1941, becoming the most produced American military aircraft in history. North American built two prototypes. The XB-70 was the most advanced bomber ever designed, featuring a delta wing that folded down at supersonic speeds for improved stability.